Hey everyone, Set 6 is coming out very soon, and as always when the English release comes, I give you some lists that are backed up with results, so you can start from there, right? We don't have to go from the beginning, from preliminary lists and build new ones. These have been backed up by results, and I'll tell you the ones that haven't because some of them do require some changes. We have some really strong decks. The first one, of course, being Messiah. This is getting insane amounts of support. Basically just from Lady Battler of the Black Hole. This is probably the biggest support I got. It's just a consistent multi-attacker that just comes back all the time. Also, the new front triggers that are being released in sets, they really add value to this. When they get retired from the Guardian Circle, you put it to Soul, and then Messiah can convert that to like cards. So you can have a lot of card draw. And then you also have the new strides. Now, if you look at here, you can do the kind of the stride hide, which is what a lot of players have been doing to convince you that this could be a Night Rose deck, or it could be a Harry deck. But surprise, it's actually a Messiah deck. You can actually run 12 strides now, because Messiah and Jet got the new strides for their G-Zone. But if you keep your stride zone at 8, you can kind of confuse your opponent. Though I feel like not everyone will be convinced, because there's only one really strong stride deck, in my opinion, in the meta. Notice that this is also running one Excelix. You can just... I think it's there to play. I literally copied this list straight from... I think this came first place in Ultimate. Also came very high ranked at a previous Ultimate that also ran pretty much the exact same list. The Excelix there, I'm pretty sure it's just there to flex. You don't really have a way to get it out, because if you look at here, you're just running 4x of the the Stride Dragons, and then more Stride. You don't run any Messiah grade 3s. So pretty much there to flex, but you have just like good discard fodders, and then ways to get them back to keep on drawing cards for etc, etc. So pretty much Messiah, I think, is just one of the strongest decks right now. In Japan, of course, it was still in the Resile and Levy Dras heavy meta, but I think in the West we do play a bit more different things. So I definitely think this will be in big contention right now, and for Worlds as well. Okay, the other deck that actually saw some interesting support is Maelstrom. Now this, actually, 2 of these topped Singapore's WGP Deluxe qualifiers. So those are really big tournaments as well. And 2 of them topped with pretty much the exact same list. I think one of them just ran one less of this and ran something else. One less of the Energy Cycler. But overall, like, yeah, Maelstrom, they got the new Glory Maelstrom. And getting 2 tops is pretty impressive. I think when you play this deck, I think the idea behind it is you go pretty high roll, and then you can kind of outspeed like Levy Dras and the Resile decks, and just kind of just destroy them so hard it's very hard for them to come back. But yeah, a lot of cycling. Just you got the Maelstroms, a new set 6 card, Elcrinus, and then you also have the Cutlass as well coming back to support Aquaforce, not Grand Blue, which is weird. And then after that, we also have the Gandiva Mask. Now, Gandiva Mask, this came first, second in Ultimate. I think it's second, right? Ultimate second. So, Gandiva Mask showing some bit of life. Now, this is not running Best Harvest, which kind of like blew me away a bit. But yeah, you just have so many more slots that you have to like devote to the Mask engine. The Mask engine is like not bad, and then you also have like the Dragon Tree stuff coming in. But now you also have 8 cards that can help you make multiple attacks. So you still have the good old Alpha Car, but this probably got like ignored because it was Eugene and Gandiva support in set 2 of Divines, which means no one gave a crap about it. But this also helps you give you like multi-attacks. So this is very nice. Having more multi-attacks means you can attack harder, attack faster, and then ideally scale up quickly to be able to, like, the biggest issue with the format right now, when you compare it to old Gandiva was slow. The format right now is fast. So being able to set up multi-attacks quicker and being able to at least like retire more so you can get more in your bind zone quicker is very important, which will allow you to scale quicker and get the damage in faster. So speed, very important, and this new Gandiva at least has done something right, so can at least get some results there by being faster. After that, we have one Roa. This is well, you're going to click the link. Like, all the decks are in the links below. This one is in JP deck log because for some reason the Momokes weren't showing up properly. This game top 8 at WGP Korea Deluxe qualifiers, and I mean, it's Roa. Like, do you really expect that? A lot of it's just your good old apart from the new Roa that makes the deck overall just just better and more consistent. You still have like some of the other good things from before, like the mushrooms that let you be aggressive early, which is very important because, again, the meta is all about speed right now. And then you have the Raccoon Girl here to be able to make your deck more consistent a little by getting your glitter pieces, which is one of the biggest, I think, failings of Roa, in that, you know, it can make really big columns before, but sometimes it just doesn't have all the pieces it needs to continually make those columns. So being able to just get your glitter pieces seems pretty nice. Now, in terms of lists with results, that's all so far. So the main things like Solarian didn't get any results, but there are decent ones in locals. So if you check VG top decks, it'll be there. Also, I think there was only one Graham Grace that ever showed up in locals. So there is one Graham Grace locals list, but when I remember when I looked at it, it wasn't that amazing. And overall, I just felt Graham Grace wasn't really that good, just from playing with it a bit. And just, I mean, there are so many good Keter decks out there. Why play Graham Grace, right? And then I think out of all of them, Favniel is probably the best showing one. But again, nothing really concrete there, nothing really good results. It's just a restanding Vanguard. So as always, those will always have the luck factor in, where if you get some good triggers, you win, but if you don't, it feels bad. But I do feel Favniel has the most possibilities there, but still, not really any tops. It did show up as well for some of the top decks, so as always, you know, when these lists pop up, we really point them out. Now, there is one other list that I do want to kind of mention, and that is, this is the Narukami list, the blood list. I remember you saw a blood do decently in the Japanese World Championships. Now, that list I don't think was ever released, so this is kind of just me putting together a list based on what I saw. So when you look at that, you can change the ratios from this. I'm not exactly sure on how it did, but there is a stream of it winning against Raziel, played by Nine, who was the player of this deck, the builder of this deck. Well, it's not this deck. This is just kind of me looking at, you know, what cards are played and just kind of getting ratios from that. What I did see, yeah, they ran front triggers, so I'm assuming 3 soul fronts, and then the trigger lineup I think is probably like the best, the most accurate part there. We saw Defensing Raw, and then I'm assuming there was like a bunch. You have to run the Vermilions. Saw multiples of Spike Dragon, very strong, and then multiples of we saw Bellicosity and also the PR, the Rufka Hammer Dragon. And then we also saw Shenri's as well. Shenri works pretty well, I think. You can just commit early, and then when you play your Eternal Thunderbolt, it will just cash in and get draws and make soul. So overall, it's a ratio something like this. A Worlds player bringing Narukami to Vermilion, at least to like Worlds, should be a pretty good indication that at least some value or thought behind it going, you know, it seems like it could be pretty good for the meta. And when you think about it, it could be correct, right? Like, you can bind a lot of your opponent's cards, and then a lot of the decks nowadays revolve around putting cards, you know, resurrecting cards, and then if you deny that, then their entire boards just get broken, which is pretty interesting. So this is just kind of my list that I kind of put together. It's not, again, like, it's not 100%, it's definitely not 100% what it is that was played, but help you out. You guys can change the ratios. The other list as well that should be here but isn't is actually Chronojet. The biggest problem with Jet right now is that there is no Philia. We don't have Philia. And this is coming out, I think, mid-April, so it's still in set 6 meta, but no Philia means the deck, I mean, there's probably not a bunch of cards you would run, right? This deck has shown some results, but if you don't have the Philia, I feel like you can just run the old builds that you have currently, which is, you know, running in the Focalor. Some of them still run the 400 Valtus because it's just an insane card. Do run Glimmer Breath Dragon. I think a lot of decks actually don't run this, or just run this at 1. It's not a required card at all. So overall, I just think you can just run your old Chronojet list until Philia comes, and then you can just add in the extra Stride. Like, that's it. That's all you really need. Because currently, I think the current Chronojet builds are still pretty good. You get a lot of cards. You still scale pretty well. It just could be a bit slow when you compare it to all the Raziels and the Leverdrass, but I still think it's a strong deck. So yeah, just add the extra Philias when you get them, but if you don't, you can just play your old builds. And I think finally, like, the Dragenesis also gave a lot of new support to all the glitter cards as well. Like, we saw Roa get some pretty decent support. We can't not talk about Ava, right? So this is different about this. I'm sure he's going to talk about his list, like, quite often. But the Ava lists, everyone loves Ava. But the only thing you really need to change is you just add in 2 of the new set orders. That's what everyone has been doing, and your deck is automatically very good. I think even in set 7 meta, especially when Basarga came out, Jovan from Indonesia came like 3rd with Ava. So it's like you can count Ava out. If you're a big Ava fan, it's still here. Like, it still does its old thing with just a pinch, a smidge of extra power now, and extra. Is it extra power? Is it extra consistency? Extra reliability? It's anything like that. Ava has it all, like, to be honest. So that is pretty much all the lists. I feel like all the glitter lists also got power, like just from like 1 or 2 cards. Tamiyura, Chaos, they all see some. I thought when set 6 come out, I said, wow, why are there so many of these glitter lists in top decks recently? And it's just simply because they got 1 or 2 cards of support. So there's a lot of things you can try there. Overall, set 6 is just pretty much just like a bit of support for everyone and see how it goes. There's no new ride lines at all. Just like extra card, extra grade 3. And that's basically, you can literally build an entire Stride deck set. Well, 2 Stride deck sets from this as well, because they got re-released here too. So that's it for me. It's a bit of a quick one, because set 6 is just a bit weird in terms of the meta, how everything is positioned. We might even get a ban list soon for set 6, just before set 7. So think how our format might even be different. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you all later. All right, bye.